Hey everybody, it's Trudy, One Grounded Angel. This is an angel card reading for the very last week of the year, starting the 27th of December through to the 2nd of January 2022. How crazy does that sound? So technically it's actually the start of next year, and a little announcement from me, this will be the last weekly video I'll be doing. I've been doing a weekly video a week for about 6 years now, and I've had to think about how I want to spend my time and in an ongoing effort to get more or better balance between my life, various facets of my life, knowing that there's never going to be a perfect balance. I've decided to scale back on some of my social media commitments, which are, as you can imagine, are quite immense and are taking away from, my personal time and also from the time that I want to invest into my business and supporting the people who I'm working with. So I've decided to cut back on the videos. I will still be posting a card on my social media each day, at least for the interim, and we'll see how long that goes. The aim is that I can still provide guidance, but just to limit how much time it is requiring of me. I know that will be upsetting for some of you who really enjoy it, but hopefully you will still benefit from seeing the cards each day. So thank you for your understanding of my need to take charge of the way that I spend my time. So this last week of the year, we are still under the influence of Venus retrograde that lasts until the end of January. And it's an interesting one. We have no eclipses, thank goodness. But, December has not been a quiet ride to ride out the year. There's a lot going on, so we'll see. Oh, and this is very appropriate on that note. Monday's card here, Shield Yourself, talking about the need to really make sure you are aware of what you're taking on board from outside sources. By that I mean people's energies and emotions. If you are an empath and a sensitive person, as I am, you have to be really careful who you spend time with. You cannot be around people who whinge and moan all the time. We all do this sometimes, but when people are doing it all the time, people who have a victim mentality, people who are aggressive, bullying, all that sort of thing, it's going to really take a toll on your energy. So be careful. And obviously you don't have to tell them that you're not going to spend time with them and shame them for, whatever's going on for them. But, just be really careful about how much time you are investing in. Now, sometimes we do have to spend time with those people because maybe that we're related to them. So in that case, shielding is a really important thing to do. And this is so easy to do. All you need to do each morning is ask Archangel Michael to place you in a protective bubble of light for the day. It is mandatory self-care if you are on a spiritual journey, and certainly if you feel you're very sensitive to other people, and especially if you're a people pleaser. Tuesday's card, Gentleness. This is exactly the same card we had last Tuesday. Very interesting. As I explained last week, it's very much about treading softly, not trying to push through the world and rush around. It's about going slowly, being really present. This may not be realistic for all of you, so we have to look at degrees of what is realistic for us. So if you can find, if you do have to have a pretty full-on, energetic, intense day, just create a window where you can have some time to be gentle. You can listen to some soft music. Putting on music in your headphones helps create a barrier between what's going on out there. And so just think of it that way. What can I do to carve out some time to be gentle today? And often the gentleness that's needed is actually in your own head. It's your thoughts that you need to turn down the volume on and just be more conscious about which thoughts you are investing into, which ones you are letting carry you away instead of, these aggressive or critical thoughts might be coming up and you might choose not to buy into that today and just put a stop loss on that. That's a word we used to use when I worked in retail years ago when I was still at high school, had a part-time job in retail. We called it a stop loss. There was a certain amount of stock that was going to get damaged or stolen. This is quite a big store, by the way. We had to put a stop loss on how much we were willing to accept as inevitable and how much we were willing to set measures in place to limit, I guess. Wednesday, your home is protected by angels. I know it's talking about homes, but it may not relate to your home. It may for some of you, so we'll start off with that. Home, it could be about moving or doing what you can to change up where you live in terms of maybe decluttering, making it feel more like a haven, making some changes about the way you live in that home, that sort of thing. It could also be more largely about safe. It talks about being safe. It talks about protection here. And if we don't feel safe within ourselves, we don't feel safe to be ourselves, to ask for what we need, to go after what we want in the world, there's a good chance we're not feeling safe in a lot of other areas of our lives. It's really about emotional safety more than physical safety. And for this, Archangel Michael's a very good person or archangel to call upon. He, again, angels don't have gender, but I'm going with he because that's how he's often depicted as being male. So he's associated with strength and protection. So you can call on him if you are feeling unsafe in any sense, physical, emotional, whatever. But certainly looking at your safety emotionally, do you feel safe to be yourself, to assert yourself, to make some changes where you need to, all that sort of thing. If that's the case, you might like to look at what can I do to help myself feel safe. Maybe it's about healing. Obviously, I would always say energy healing is the best way to go about that, because the changes that I have experienced personally in terms of safety and getting rid of insecurities, having a greater level of internal security is just huge. And so that's why I recommend it to people. That's why I became a practitioner of energy healing myself, but it is not for everybody. So I will always say the way that it has helped me feel safer, makes me want to say everybody should do this. But whatever is right for you, you need to go after that. A way to let go of anything, maybe trauma, anything that's standing in the way of you feeling safe. Or maybe it's that you need to do some work around trusting yourself. Maybe the reasons you're not feeling emotionally safe is because you're not trusting yourself enough or trusting the universe enough. So this is appropriate. Thursday's card, move. I mentioned about moving. Maybe this is it for you. If you've been thinking about moving, this is confirming it's right for you. If you've recently moved, this confirms it was the right choice. For those who are not looking to change their address, it's about moving your body. And there's never been a better time to do that, certainly around the new year, starting the new year right, getting some movement coming through, helping to shift where we're stuck can be really, really helpful. So that is a pretty straightforward message for Thursday. We'll go now to Friday, the last day of the year. Crazy to be talking about this, but here we are. Following your bliss is Friday. So this is an interesting one. A lot of people are going to spend time thinking about what they want to do in the new year, maybe what they want to achieve, maybe what they want to let go of. This is a pretty good goal. How can I make time or make space in my life on a regular basis to do things that I enjoy, that I'm passionate about? The word following can be a bit misleading. Sometimes it's not about following, sometimes it's about needing to lead. And that means really making a choice to think about what am I really passionate about. And that can be a really overwhelming question for people. Often people say, I don't know, because their whole lives have been looking after other people. No one's ever given them permission to think about what's right for them. So there can be a lot of fears that come up around that. And if that's you, definitely I'd recommend you be working with an expert to help you. One of the top regrets of people who are passing away is I wish I'd spent more time doing things I love. So ideally you want to avoid that by spending the time now doing things that you enjoy, and that's not going to be time that's ever wasted. So thinking about that, and also people who get really caught up in that perfectionism or that Capricornian kind of productivity is everything, they can really struggle with this as well. And so it might be about remembering that it's not time wasted, time that you spend on yourself. You're not here to be graded. You don't have to be productive all the time and get things done. There's no medals being handed out for that. So that's something to think about as you go into the new year, or even just if you're on holiday here in the Southern Hemisphere, something to think about for your holidays. Saturday is surrender. What a wonderful way to start 2022. Surrender. What is it I need to let go of? I love how this person is in water, the cleansing. Water can also symbolize emotions as well. Maybe there's an emotional issue or wounding or baggage that you need to let go of. Generally, people know what it is when they get a message like this. All is well, I surrender to my inner guidance. So your inner guidance is going to tell you what it is you need to let go of. Maybe the thing you need to let go of is resistance. You're wanting to reach for something that's important to you, but there's been resistance there. And maybe that resistance is where the work needs to be done. So Sometimes when people are striving for a goal, they quite rightly focus on the goal and the steps they need to take to get to the goal. But sometimes we also need to be looking at dismantling the barriers that are in the way. It's not just about the forward motion, it might be about clearing before we can do that. So that's another way to look at your goals. What is it that's standing in the way here, and how am I going to go about dismantling that? Sunday, see only love. This ties into some of those messages we had last week around compassion and releasing judgment. Maybe that's what the surrendering is about. I do feel this is strongly about you as a person rather than about the way you see other people or the way you interact with other people, but certainly that can still tie into it, and maybe it can be both. Maybe it is about compassion towards other people as well as yourself. Often we are judgmental towards other people when we aren't really liking ourselves very much. So the word here that's really key is shame. Where are you shaming yourself? Are you beating yourself up for something you did or didn't do in the past that you feel maybe you could have? Are you trying to be something that you're not or you feel you should be? Is it about your weight and appearance? Is it about your relationship? Are you holding on to regret around that? All these sorts of things can come up. So it's really about embodying a more loving disposition towards yourself and towards other people. And I always feel like I need to explain, it's not about being perfect. You're going to have days when you do go in and out of judgment. So I would never advocate trying to be judgment free. It's more about trying to notice when judgment is showing up for you in this moment and then address that. And if you do have it come up again, that doesn't mean that you're a bad person or you're failing at spirituality. That's just the next thing you need to look at. We can only tackle one thing at a time, and the goal is not to be perfect. It's to do the work that we're getting guided towards. Okay, so cards around moving and changing up your physical location. For some of you, that's going to be a bit of a theme. I have got these out of order. Never mind. And I think this idea of releasing resistance and going after what we want is a really beautiful note to be focusing on as we let go of 2021 and head into 2022. Thank you very much to all of you who have watched these videos. Some of you have given me some amazing feedback. I really appreciate it. This is not comfortable for me as an introvert, as someone who's afraid of public speaking, to be doing this, but I've done it because I know so many of you get value from it. So I hope that you will stay with me and continue to support my work, whether as a client or following my cards on Instagram. At OneGroundedAngel is my name on Insta, and I'm also on Facebook, OneGroundedAngel. You can also find out more about me and what I do at onegroundedangel.com. It's my website. Thank you for all the love and support. I'm sending it right back to you. I hope you are able to move into this next year with grace, with self-compassion, and with the willingness to embrace whatever comes up for you, knowing that you can get through it. Thank you, everybody. Take care.